Thank you.
I'm just doing basically what I know from the prologue and last Smartwoods game.
I mean, the prologue. I gotcha.
No idea what to do for the
Oh, there it goes.
Hey, Dad, how many symbols are these?
There's you've had one for every birthday, so there should be 10 on the back.
No, I'm showing them. Yeah.
7, so you got 7 so far.
So,
Go ahead. Move over to your
Dad,
side. Yes, babe.
how about we should call this episode Sean's 11th birthday?
It's not Sean.
No, okay. Ken's 11th birthday.
Maybe.
The curse of the birthday.
All right.
I'm saying it in magic.
All right. We have our little... I have my GM prompt for this thing, and I also have a general idea. All right. So, guys, shall we do the trailer where we're recording? The lead-in kind of thing, or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So the trailer that we did a couple days ago for this was...
Wait, are we recording?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. Was Mom and Dad of the Smartwoods, Mom and Dad Smartwood, were kind of talking to each other and kind of arguing about what to do and whether or not they needed to be around this next week and whether or not to make what their plan should be and whether or not they should do anything special and whether or not they should cancel their travel plans and all this other kind of stuff. And at the end of that, what they said is, well, it's not like it's a super special year. Last year was a super special year. This is just his 11th birthday.
And then the ruins started glowing.
Now, you're jumping ahead a little bit. And the camera goes from them and on the hallway into everybody's rooms. It's nighttime, the kids were asleep. So Marzipan's room, she's sleeping. It looks like she fell asleep on a book again. Her bed, her desk, her floor is kind of covered in books. There's books stacked up underneath the bed. There's books on her bed.
And then next to Marzipan's room was Zoology's room. They went into her room, and surprisingly, it was covered in maps.
It is covered in maps.
Mappa.
Right. And apparently Ken's room is sort of
filled with uneaten food. And there's so much uneaten food that Ken had to organize it.
So you have shrines to your favorite kinds of food.
Yeah, there's breads where there are pizza and croissants.
At some point in time, your parents are going to say this is disgusting, and they get rid of all the food, but then they let you have pictures of all your favorite food. Apparently that hasn't happened yet. Your parents are much more lenient than I am because your Smartwood parents are much more lenient than I am because I don't like food in people's rooms. Anyway, but as we're looking at Ken's room, who's apparently about to have his 11th birthday, we see the bat next to his bed start to glow. The runes start to glow. Now, we talked about this a little bit in our last game because Ken's got this... you can kind of see it in the picture. You got the picture on? You can kind of see it in the picture where he's got this bat, and there's runes on the bat. I see the eyes and the lightning. Sean, you did a good job getting that on your drawing and stuff.
I had to kind of guess most of them because it's pretty small.
Because there's 10 little runes. There's 10 runes carved into the plastic of this wiffle ball bat, and apparently we found out from Sean that these weren't all done at once. They just show up on his bat. That's what Ken thinks. Ken thinks they just show up on his bat
because he doesn't actually know what's
yeah. Sean knows what's actually going on. What's actually going on is that every year on his birthday, his eyes open and his eyes are kind of glowing, and he carves the new rune on his bat while he's unconscious, actually almost.
And on his birthday, all of the symbols will be there on the cover.
Okay.
Which I drew.
And no one else has really paid that much attention to it because they just think it's just something that Ken has on his bat. Until it kind of became a little bit more obvious to Marzipan that Ken really doesn't understand any of the runes on his bat. We found that out last session because she was talking about the runes on his bat and what meant what for dealing with those weird aliens. And you realize that he doesn't really know anything about any of his stuff. Okay, so we know that something's happening because Ken's about to have his 11th birthday, and something always happens on Ken's birthday, even if Ken doesn't really remember it.
And this episode is called Ken's 11th Birthday.
Okay, which doesn't sound very ominous, except maybe it is. Zoology, do you ever wake up in the middle of the night?
Maybe. I go downstairs, make sure my parents are asleep, then I take one of my maps, slam it on my desk, turn on the light, and start looking at the map.
So basically you research in the middle of the night for absolutely no reason. Wait, so that means you sometimes hear the sound of the possession, right?
Apparently
does
not.
the possession have a sound or something?
No, probably not. She might realize there's something weird going on, but that's about it.
Got it.
Okay, so Zoo, you wake up kind of in the middle of the night, weirdly.
For absolutely no reason.
But you don't hear anything weird in the house. It does feel, you do get a weird feeling, but you don't hear...
sinister.
Yeah, kind of. But it's not coming from inside the house, it's coming from outside the house.
Like something's there.
Like this.
Waiting.
Like this. Like creaking.
Like something's there.
Waiting.
Kind of, maybe. So... You look out the window of your room, and from out of your window, you can see like the sidewalk in front of the house and stuff.
Yeah, because my room's in front of the house.
Yeah, and
as it is in a real house.
It's dark. The street lights are still up, and standing on the sidewalk in front of the house, you think there's 3 or 4 people? 3 people. You can't see many details about them because they're all wearing hoods like this.
They're wearing dark blue hoods.
Let me see the hoods. Wow, looks sinister.
Looks sinister.
They're wearing dark blue hood, but it looks like black because there's not much light right now.
Yep, and it's just the street light from above and you can't see. Now, you can't see anything, but it does look like they're looking up at the house. Like the angle of the hood is such that they look like they're looking up. You don't have a light on.
Do they have any glowing facial features? I really wanted glowing eyes in these episodes.
No, there don't seem to be any glowing eyes in these. And they're not wearing. I want to make it clear. This is kind of a picture. This is kind of a picture of somebody in a hoodie, and I want to make it clear these guys aren't wearing hoodies. They're wearing like robes.
Like cloaks.
Yeah.
They still kind of fun.
Yeah, but just imagine that.
Still basically hoodie.
Imagine this drapey thing like going all the way down to almost to the ground.
And showing your shirt or something.
Kind of not, because it's sort of pulled in like this.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Folded over at the neck. And they're looking up at the windows. What do you do? Do you do anything, or you just kind of watch them?
No, I quietly...
They're not looking at your window. They're looking up at the house, but they're not looking at your window.
And I look at the...
Like, so there's...
Hang on. Okay. So, Zoe, tell Kaylee real quick what was going on. No, you don't have to whisper. Just say it.
So, Marzipan, I
Okay, wait. Are you going to go... Let me clarify this. Are you going to go to Mars's room and wake her up and tell her what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh!
So we can do the explanation
What, guys?
in game.
What?
So we can explain to Marzipan about it and inform Kaylee at the same time.
So
you see what's going on outside the window, and you go and get Marzipan.
Yeah, I go get Marzipan.
So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I say, hey, Mar.
And once again, Zoe is awake and wants you to wake up.
Wake up. So, Mar, I just woke up, and there's this mysterious 3 people outside my window, looking up at the house. I can't tell if they're looking, at the window, because they're wearing hoodies.
That's not good.
And should we go get Ken?
Sure. Go wake him up while I figure it out. And almost everybody but Zoology knows that I don't like it when I'm woke up before 7:30.
Okay. So when you open up the door into his room, Ken is floating in midair. His eyes are open. They're glowing.
And blank.
And blank.
You can see the black spots.
Yes. Irises. Pupils. His eyes are open, glowing. It's like when the creatures were possessed by the tide mice in Hilda.
Ah, yeah, it does. But I'm not making more sounds.
His eyes are open. They're glowing. The bat is in one hand, and he's, with his finger, like melting a rune into the end of the bat. Like not along the side this time, but along the end of the bat. He's like drawing a rune into the end of the bat.
Check it. This is kind of fun. This circled one is what it looks like.
Okay. It doesn't matter because you can't see it with that detail at this point. Zoo, what do you do?
Quickly tiptoe back to Marzipan and say, "Hey, Mar, I just saw Ken. He's floating in midair. His eyes are glowing light blue. His fingers melting a shape into his bat."
You forgot to blink. You forgot to blink this one.
The glowing of the eyes assumes that it's blank. So
You're telling me at 2 a.m., 2 in the morning, there are 3 people hovering outside your window, and our brother is possessed.
Sorry. They're not hovering. They're standing on the sidewalk outside the house and looking up at the house in hoods. They look. Oh, this is an even better picture. Hang on. Ooh, this is even better.
Yeah.
Like this, or like that. Just hanging out.
That's freaky.
Looking up at the house, not looking in Zoe's room. So they were outside, and then she went over to tell Ken about it, and Ken's apparently hovering in midair and glowing.
Oh my god.
What do you do, Mar?
Go check on Ken, see if he's done with his little thing yet.
When you come into the room, the bat is laying in the middle of the floor. Ken is in bed, laying on top of the covers in a tumble, but that's actually kind of normal Ken for you.
And there's a pile of cookies next to him, because that's where I like to do the sugar pile.
Okay. So Ken's asleep in the bed. The bat is laying on the floor. Everything looks pretty much normal for Ken's room. In other words, kind of disgusting. However, the rune on the end of the bat, which you're pretty sure wasn't there before, is smoking a little bit.
Yeah. This one. Whoops.
From downstairs, you can hear your parents coming. Kind of. Well, one of them. Would it be Mom or Dad?
Dad.
So Dad is kind of like, "Sweetie, please, you just had a bad dream. Ken was not floating in midair. His eyes were not glowing. I'm sure there's nobody outside the house. It's very late. No one's walking around at this point in time." You look out the window out to the front of the street, and sure enough, there's nobody out there.
But there is a little bit of smoke, right? Because this really nice stuff.
No.
Ah, darn.
That'd be kind of cool, though, but no.
That sucks.
So, whatever happened, Mar, you just missed it. Dad comes up and is like, "Oh, Mar, did she get you up too?" Or at least Ken's not awake. Oh, both of you, off to bed. Girls, please, off to bed. Shh, everything's fine. Why does it smell like... Why does his room always... Why is there so much food in his room?
And there's just a pile of
we need to
cookies.
clean his room for his birthday or something, because the entire place... if the food's gone off or something, it smells like burned plastic in there. Oh, okay, girls, to bed. Shh.
Smells like burned plastic. Melted plastic.
Wait, I don't know why Stop. I don't know why you thought getting the parents was going to be a good idea, but...
Or help.
Or help at all.
Because these are the people who don't think anything happens in this town. Also,
let me guess, as soon as he leaves, the people are back outside?
No.
Ah, darn. That would be really
That was just
cool.
bad timing. The thing was done. After Dad goes downstairs, do you guys stay asleep, stay in bed? What do you do? Girls?
We pretend we're
I get
asleep.
up and then I wake up Ken, because...
Because, I mean, this is basic stuff.
And then
Allow me to quote Ken when I say, maybe he's a zombie now. Oh no, it's just Ken at 2 o'clock in the morning.
No, everybody but Zoology knows that I'm very angry when
Okay, but you know,
if anybody wakes me up before 7:30.
the thing is, it's so early. It isn't even early. It's just you woke up in the middle of the night. It's not like being woken up early for school. It's like total interruption in the middle of the night, like coming down.
And I'm in a different mood at that time. I'm just like, Can I go to sleep now? Can I go to sleep now?
Like you're too bleary to be emotional about anything. You feel particularly bleary right now, like you just really aren't getting a very good night's sleep, and you were having the weirdest dream.
Like, what was it? More examples.
You were floating, and somebody was whispering, like a bunch of people were whispering in your ear, but you didn't understand what they were saying.
You were just carving in the weirdest symbol.
No, that part you didn't. That one part wasn't in the dream. You were like floating, and you
but by the time somebody wakes you up, you're like, my room doesn't usually smell like this. Candy, yes. Pizza, yes. Never burnt plastic.
Yeah. You were like floating over an open plain with nothing to see except in the very distance, kind of a glow on the horizon, and people were whispering in your head. You're not sure what all that was about. But it was not giving you a very restful sleep. Ken's like clearly does not remember anything that he had was going on.
I just keep poking him till he like sits up and becomes awake.
He's up enough.
I still one of my eyes
sound effects.
one of my eyes is partly asleep.
Just one eye? One eye is still asleep? You're half awake, so just one eye's up. Like this half of him is listening, this half is still in dreamland. He's only half snoring, so it sounds like a bee buzzing. Ooh. Ooh.
And the rest of this side of my body isn't working too. Like my arm isn't grabbing my bat.
Okay.
So
anyway, bat's on the floor. What do you do, Mar?
I know where the runes on your bat come from.
Evil hunting dreams about planes?
No, planes like
deserts or something?
Yeah, like that kind of plane. Not like flying planes, but like open.
No. I knew what you were talking about.
Oh, okay.
I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. More like a desert plane or just flat dirt. Like nothing, no features on it or anything like that.
Flat.
What did you say? So she said, I know where your symbols come from, and you said...
Weird dirt planes?
Not exactly.
Whispering voices in my head?
Not exactly.
That could be closer.
Going right out on the horizon?
Not exactly.
I hope not, but maybe.
You were levitating in the air, putting your finger up to the bat. Blue laser was coming out of your finger.
No, my hand is like, my finger was like...
Yeah, his fingertip was just melting the plastic, Zoe. It wasn't like
you were making a devil shape into your bat.
Kind of like this.
Yes. And yeah, that's what's scribbled into, that's what is, actually it's not, can I see it? Can I see the drawing that you did?
It's just circled.
Okay. The face is there, but the horns aren't there. It's not finished.
Oh, it's not.
And you don't even know, let me make this really clear. There's a drawing at the end of the bat. So, Mar, you look at it, there's a drawing at the end of the bat. Zoe, you look at it, there's a drawing at the end of the bat. Ken, you look at it, and you say, there's a drawing at the end of the bat, it's not finished. You just instinctively know that drawing's not done yet. Like half of one of the arms or legs or horns or whatever is started, but none of the rest of them are there. So
like one of them is half finished.
Yeah.
Like one at the bottom, one at the top.
So the head is there, the rest of it was finished, but the drawing didn't get completed.
And one of the lightning bolts on the face isn't there.
Okay, perfect. Why didn't it get finished? You can just tell, you know.
I guess it's just like phase 1 or something.
Mara, why wouldn't it be done?
I think the phase is the phase.
That's literally what I
accurate out of all of them.
That's literally what I just said.
Yeah,
phase 1, chapter 1, page 1.
No, she's saying, I think that guess is probably the most accurate one.
It's like it's just like the first cycle of the night.
Yeah, but it's 2:00 in the morning.
Wait, didn't you just say it was?
I never said it was correct. I just said that's probably.
It's 2 a.m. That doesn't mean morning exactly. It just means.
You said it's. Yeah, kind of.
Or it could have something to do with the people who are outside Zoe's room.
Yeah, he stopped and he's awake now.
And there's like what everybody just said. I'm not intending to go back to sleep. I usually can't sleep after a bad dream in the real world.
Why don't, hey, Genius Brainiac, how about you give us a roll so you can figure out why?
Let me guess, is it a books roll?
So, books, when you do something, you roll the d12. If you're prepared, you add a d12. You're not. You add another d12 if you're an expert. The fact that you're a mystic is what gives you the expert.
Okay.
So, yes, roll 2 12s. Are your arms hurting from simply rolling the dice? For the record,
Don't do anything.
for the record, her arms hurt so bad that it hurts to roll dice.
Bam.
Boom.
And a 5.
So that's 2 under?
You could use these.
Yep. Okay. So you got 2 successes. It feels like to you that whatever was happening got interrupted. And speaking as a mystic who lives in the house with zoology, it seems really, really likely that zoology interrupted whatever was going on. Because speaking as a mystic who lives with zoology, that happens a lot.
And apparently it saved us from probably the end of the world. Or something. Or the end of the incantation.
Or the end of the U.
Or the end of my birthday. Sean's...
And all following birthdays. It's possible that it didn't get done because something interrupted. Maybe it was those people outside the house that were doing it.
Oh, God. I could imagine those guys... I could imagine those guys doing an incantation in ancient Inca or something.
So you think if one of these runes shows up every time he has a birthday, and somebody else has been doing it, and somebody else has been doing it, that means these people have been messing with Ken's for 10 years, 11 years now. Ever since
I feel uncomfortable.
Ever since he was a bebe.
No, it started like when I was 1.
Yeah, bebe.
I don't know how I got possessed when I was 1.
It was probably fairly easy.
But I don't know if my fingers were developed enough to.
If this were,
melt.
I have to tell you, because if this were like a She-Ra or Hilda or Dragon Prince kind of cartoon, we would now have a cutscene of the 10 times that you've been possessed possessed before, but we'd be going in reverse order. So it'd be like whatever your room was decorated like back on that birthday. You hovering in midair, you carving the bat, and we keep going back until the final one is like, first one is like Ken, like, oh, and then the next one before that is like, one before that is like, ee, and when it, like the very first one is Ken, naked in a diaper, as a baby, hovering in midair, in a diaper, little tiny baby finger pointed at
Tongue out! Tongue out! It must have been really hard.
And then we cut back to Ken today going, I don't know, man, I just don't remember what happened. And everyone else is kind of staring at him, looking slightly horrified. Anyway, okay, so apparently,
so he's still a baby.
let me see if we can sum up here a little bit. Ken has been messed with for the last 10 years or 11 years. Somebody has bad plans or is doing something through him. No idea why.
Probably because they're too old to do it.
No idea why. And they're probably up to no good because it seems like everybody who's messing with you guys in general is usually up to no good.
Trying to mess with our history.
Question then becomes...
what are they messing? What is the villain messing with this time?
Or, more to the point,
Girl,
what do they want and what are you going to do about it?
It's kind of weird because now we don't know who they are. We don't know what they want. And we don't know where they're going.
Well, you could find... What do you know? What evidence do you have?
My bat is still smoking.
Well, so you know it actually happened, but your bat is also covered with runes.
Yeah, but the top of my bat is still smoking.
True, but...
and a bit of sparks.
His bat is literally covered in written evidence. And written stuff is stuff you can research.
Exactly.
So
you basically have to research all 11 of these
I can do that.
One at a time. Maybe even two. So you can make up.
She doesn't need the actual drawings that you did, but thank you, Sean.
Maybe you can just make up answers.
Well, it's more broad than that. Are you going to help?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 5, 11.
No.
Okay.
2 under.
It takes a lot of research.
And I'm basically just pointing out things and
Kenilworth,
what they would do in my point of view.
most of Kenilworth's help boils down to he's bringing you books.
Mm-hmm.
Or you tell him what book to go look for and he finds it in books.
And I'm basically suggesting what they look like and what they do.
Your research would indicate that what Ken is drawing on his bat is the name of the nameless one, which is not a good thing.
No.
The nameless one is nameless for a reason,
It's like
and
the doctor.
someone's making him write it out on his bat.
It's like the doctor.
And we're going to find out more about that in our next session.
I hope you tune in because then you'll get to see this great cover that I made.